What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. I'm a big 49ers fan. Shocker, surprise. Been following the team for decades on decades, just like it's been decades and decades since we last won the Super Bowl. Now, I've been really excited because I was able to get the original starting lineup Niner figures, got a few back in the day. McFarlane Toys came through with the SportsPicks line. So I got a nicely detailed, well sculpted, pretty solid paintwork for Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott, the legends, Steve Young. And then I was able to get that in the middle period where it's like, all right, cool, we got some good ones. We got a Jeff Garcia figure. We've got a T.O. We got a pretty decent amount of guys considering the Niners were on the surge at that point when McFarlane was releasing those figures. Then we sucked for a long time. And then he finally got around to us because we started getting good again. So we got an Alex Smith, we got a Frank Gore, a Vernon Davis, Michael Crabtree, and Colin Kaepernick figure. I wanted some more. Clearly, I would have loved to get a Patrick Willis, the new Hall of Famer, Patrick Willis, maybe an Alden Smith, Justin Smith. So I hated so much the fact that those Niners teams were not able to get the job done and get a Super Bowl because, we would have got a 3-pack of at least 3 characters or 3 figures from that time period. So very disappointing. But with the NFL coming to Hasbro with the starting line, I was like, all right, the Niners are good again. There's a really good chance we'll get some more figures out of them. Yeah, I'm going to have to pay $50, $60 for them, but it'll be worth it to get some more Niners. And then before we even got render one, Hasbro pulled the plug on starting lineup, no NFL, no second wave of NBA players. So what are we going to do? McFarlane Toys stepped back up onto the field with a new wave of SportsPicks figures, and the first 2 waves had me super excited because we got 2 Niners. I am incredibly crushed we didn't win the Super Bowl, period, but also because we're not going to get that championship 3-pack like we saw with the Golden Knights in the NHL line. But we did get to first one that I want to take a look at today. Is my guy, George Kittle, the Joker. I mean, this is one of my favorite Niner players, period. The Niners have had some great tight ends, and he definitely has to be there in my top 3. He's above Russ Francis at this point. Brent Jones, he's right there. I mean, there's some legends. I'll break them down in a second. This one is the Platinum Edition. You can see that. There you go. Which means he's in the road white. You can see from the packaging, this is primarily focused on the home red jerseys, but whatever. I'm happy to get a Kittle in my collection. Let me just take a walk back through some of the number 85s in Niner lore since I've been paying attention to the team. And first up, can't go any further than my introduction, if you will, to the Niners with Tecmo Bowl. And that started off with Mike Wilson, number 85. And here, check out the screenshot of the original Tecmo Bowl. We got Harris Barton, Bruce Collie, Randy Cross, Jesse Sapolu, tight end Russ Francis on the line, Jerry Rice, speed 10. No surprise. When he would get the ball, it was done. Mike Wilson was a little bit tougher. Montana, arm 13. Roger Craig, speed of 9. And anyway, Mike Wilson was my guy because he was the other one next to the incredible, the amazing Jerry Rice. And he was my first 85 since I followed the team. So there's Mike throwing back some of those dirty birds, Atlanta Falcons. Then we got number 85, Ted Popson from our very last time as Super Bowl champs. So that was classic 85. Wish I had a picture of him in the throwback jerseys. Those are my favorite looks for the team. And then we had the man himself, Greg Clark. I just finished watching this game where we finally beat the Packers, like literally hours before I'm recording this. And Greg Clark caught 2 touchdown passes. And sad to say he got CTE and, he's no longer with us, but definitely a hero for me in Niner lore, being a big contributor to us finally beating welfare case Brett Favre himself and helping a very big moment in Niner lore. And then finally, all Niner fans from a certain age remember this moment. I don't have to say anything else. Vernon, the catch three. I prefer Vernon post. There's only one catch, but Vernon making this humongous, great catch to close out an exciting divisional playoff game that we won against the Saints. And this was such a great moment for that Harbaugh era Niner squad because Alex Smith had been much maligned for so long. Vernon Davis got kicked off the field by Mike Singletary. So to see these guys come together and have that moment was so awesome. As a Niner fan, we had been long suffering from the time when Garcia, T.O., Garrison Hurst were no longer on the team. And finally, we got a playoff win, and it was a fantastic one. Definitely burned in my Niner memory. Like I mentioned, we got a Vernon Davis figure from McFarlane, and this is awesome. It's not quite that signature pose from when he catches that touchdown, but this Vernon figure is awesome. A little shaky on holding that football, which I guess is sort of kind of true to life at times. But you can see all that great detailing with the tattoos. And he's got a nice action stance, which he can hold on there pretty solidly. But it's a really cool figure, and I'm trying to, there you go, you can see some of those tattoo details coming through. But this is an awesome figure, and I don't need to pose and do all kinds of cool stuff with my football figures, so it's cool to just have this detail in them in a cool stance, a great one. And he just made the catch, he's about to make some moves, and I'm really excited to have him in my collection. But now I've got maybe the final 85. Maybe we'll finally retire that number because there's so many great 85s in Niner lore with George Kittle. And this guy looks really cool. And I just wanted to take a moment to take a look at this packaging. So you can see him. He's got the stiff arm. Maybe he's throwing some Saints around. And let's take a look at what's going on inside. Big smiling grin from Kittle. That makes sense. That's him. He loves football. So let's open this up. Let's see what Kittle looks like inside. So massive clamshell. I've cut into that so you can see the back in full form here. And you'll be able to use this later. So this is pretty cool. It is very thick. It's not a flimsy piece here. I'll give you an idea exactly how tough it is. Here's my X-Acto knife. So, you can see it's got a nice little heft to it. Nice and thick. Cool picture of Kittle. And then we've got a smaller one. This is going to be part of the stand, so it's kind of whichever way you want to go with it. But I really like how it turned out. Here's what the base looks like. Nice. Just in case you weren't sure who it was. So we've got Kittle right there. Now, this is definitely going to take up a lot more space than this really economical setup here. So, you can see how this is so much massive compared to that one. I wish there were a few more holes because maybe I could just paint over the Kittle and work in a few more other Niners in there. But this is really going to take up space considering how tiny these were. They were just little blocks. This is a whole lot more. And I wish maybe we're painted green to get that football field set up like Vernon and all the other ones. Let's pull it out. Simple enough on that end. It's not as thick or hard as I would imagine. It's kind of a light plastic. So there you go with that. So here's the figure in the shell, in the tray. This little piece pops out. This is going to be part of the display stand. There are a couple of twisty ties, not a lot, so it's not too ridiculous on that front. Just a heads up, these figures are wedged in pretty tight. You can see how deep he's situated in here. So it's a lot of pushing and prodding because of the fine details like the fingers and this big stand here. And this is going to pop off, but you want to be really careful. Probably better in this case to just cut away. This is not one of these deals we're going to put it back in the clamshell and put it back on your shelf that way. So just don't bother trying to do the normal pushing through. Just cut it out. That'll be a lot easier than potentially damaging your figure. Okay, so now Kittle is finally free. I'll put him on the stand so you can get a better look at him. But this is what he looks like straight up. So hopefully you can see in there. The head sculpt is pretty solid. I mean, I can definitely see him in this. The NFL football has good detailing. And I wasn't sure about this because I couldn't see in any of the other pictures, but he does have the long hair flowing, so it's not like original early George Kittle where he was all clean cut and all that good stuff. This is modern era Kittle. That's nice. Got the good stiff arm going. You can see the details on the pads. I feel like George would have a little bit more. His jersey wouldn't be as pristine and clean as this one. Maybe I'll go out in the grass when it's raining and smear little grass stains on here so it can show that he's really putting in the work in a major game. Kittle is nice and clean. Let's see how this looks compared to this font with 185 to the next. There you go. 285s in action. I kind of like that they're both kind of going in this kind of direction. So one's going here, the other's going to the other side. Which made total sense as I said that out loud. So let's take this. Actually, no, it does. I told you incorrectly. I thought this piece would actually come off. That's how most of them were. But this is not the case with this new era, apparently. Nope. It fits right in. So you can see there, you don't need to pull anything off. So Kittle fits right into the base like so. He's hanging, doing his thing. And you've got Kittle right on this base, looking good, situated quite lowly, quite nicely. He's just taking a pass. He's ready to go. He's got one from Jimmy G. He's got it from Trey Lance. More importantly, he's got it from Brock Purdy. Now, one thing I definitely wanted to point out with this figure, take a look here and show you what a kind of a major problem is with this one. That, of course, is the complete and utter lack of any of his tattoos. Now, granted, Hobbs is probably not going to be something that McFarlane can license to use. It would have been nice to get some of the scribble here. I can't make out all the text. It would have been nice to just get some words there just to be like, hey, this is what we got on this end. He's also got this amazing snake tattoo. That would have been pretty cool to see implemented there on his right forearm. He's got a Master Chief tattoo. Probably, again, something McFarlane would need permission to add on. And then he's got the Joker tattoo on this one. Now, this is one I kind of felt like maybe we could have been able to get. It's not like McFarlane doesn't have a license to DC. So I thought that would have been a really cool one to add on because, hey, he's already got that. So there's no tattoos. We do have his elbow sleeve. I'm not quite sure if you can see it. It doesn't show up as well with the white jersey as it does with the red. See, for the most part, the stripes are clean. I don't mind them being a little dinged up and messed up because Kittle's jerseys are normally worn down by the end of the game. You can see here the detailing on that jersey. He's got the Captain's C, which I don't think you can quite make out as well as I'm trying to show you. Let's take it off the base. That's easy enough to do. So you can see the Captain's C there. It's clean, so it's got all the stars and detailing on there. See his gloves actually have some detail also. Love the work on that football. But that's George Kittle. Let's see if he's got some really expensive Nike shoes to jack up the prices like our starting lineup figures. You can see they've got nice detailing as well. Certainly no branding on them, but they look just fine. No issues with them. All that good detail. Let's take a look at the base, how you're going to put that on here so you can get your full Kittle experience. This little knob goes on there front, and then I mentioned before, this very heavy cardstock is going to go into the back, whichever way you decide you want to rock it. Just plug it in to this little mark there. So there you go. You got your George Kittle on the base, nicely set up. It's a really cool display. It takes up a ton of shelf space, especially if you had all the rest of them. I almost feel like you could probably fit other Niners on here if you got desperate for space. like I will, no doubt. So yeah, I guess I could throw this on here and just dump the Kittle picture and maybe put in some more Niner, just a generic Niner background on there. Because gosh, it is really massive in terms of the shelf space. One takes over the other. So you can get a sense this is definitely going to dominate the space. But I really like this figure. I think they did a good job, minus the tattoos. That would have been really great to add on there, especially the Joker one. Maybe I can find some decal seals that I can implement some of them on here. I really want to put that Master Chief, the Joker, on here. So I'll see if I can kind of do some wet decals. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, here you go. This is George Kittle from the McFarlane Sports Pick NFL line. Niner Nation, bang, bang. We got one finally added to the collection again. So there you go. Hello there. And we're all good. So very good. Next up, hopefully very soon, I'll have the Nick Bosa figure to add to the collection. For now, thank you so much for watching. This episode of Loud's Figure Files has been filed.